Hey there, it's John from Living the Music. Today we're going to talk about Paul's Wings Blitzkrieg that's been going for the last few months. We're going to review what's come out so far and speculate on what might be yet to come. So stay tuned. Welcome to the video. Lovely to have you here. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let's get this out to as many Paul fans as possible, or even casual Paul fans who may not really get the word about these various releases or even upcoming possibilities. Let's get the video out to as many people as we can, and all you have to do is hit like, and if you really want to go the extra mile, put a little comment, and this thing will get out there to who it's meant to get out to. Thank you for your support either way. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching any of my videos. All right, so Paul's Wings Blitz 2026, it actually started in late last year in 2025 when he released this book, Wings, A Band on the Run. What's cool about this is it's an oral history of his post-Beatles material all the way through the 70s, focused on Wings, but it touches on the breakup of the Beatles, McCartney ran on into the Wings albums, the Wings bands, the various configurations, all his trials and tribulations with band members and so forth. And the nice thing also is you get a lot of different perspectives. You get all the band members chiming in at various points. And I like reading these kind of books. It kind of goes down pretty easy. You read Paul's perspective on something, and then you got Jeff Emmerich here chiming in. You go to another section here. You got Jeff Britton, who was the drummer in Wings for a short period. You got Mary McCartney in there, his daughter. You got Mike McCartney in here. Denny Lane, Linda's in here. So, really cool. I enjoy these kind of books very much, and even though a lot of the details in here I probably had already been familiar with, there's something about putting it all in one place, all in one, sort of context that sort of wraps around it, and somehow by taking all of that in, you kind of get things in a different way. So this is a great reference book. I'm going to go back to this. Good start to the Wings Blitz. Now, the next thing to come out after that was the compilation album, simply titled Wings. I say album. Now, you could get a one album version or a one CD version, or they got the triple album version and CD. I got the colored vinyl of the album, of course, as you see here, and it has a lot of fun extra material. It's very well done. There's no new songs in here, like unreleased songs, so that's a little disappointing, I suppose. You can always find something that could be different that you would like better. I'm always a fan of and sort of a promoter of this song called Waterspout, which he did during his London Town era, but that's never been released. I always wish he'd released that in something like this, but didn't quite make it. He almost put it on All the Best back in the 80s, but one day we'll get it. And more on that later, actually, because it could be a part of an archive edition coming up this year. So this has been a lot of fun. I think 32 tracks. Yeah, 32 tracks, 22-page booklet, 2 posters, a sticker sheet, an exclusive litho print. Lots of great extra stuff on this. Not that I'm gonna sort of peel off these stickers, but it's nice to have them nonetheless. And I do love this litho, this brand new series of paintings of all the members of Wings, and then that new Wings symbol they've kind of put together for this project. I think this is really pretty. I love the watercolor kind of idea. I may indeed have to frame this one day soon. So the compilation is well done. Probably a good idea to get that back out there. He hasn't had a compilation since Pure McCartney in, I want to say, 2015. And that one was more like a mixtape of like sort of his whole career, which is cool. But this one focuses exclusively on the Wings material. And it's a great branding of that. And now forevermore, people want to find out what Wings was about. And they don't have time initially to listen to everything. They can go to this compilation and they're all set. There's also a Blu-ray that they put out of this, which is cool, which I think was the first Blu-ray audio we got from Paul. And it does sound fantastic. I don't have Atmos and all that, but it hasn't, the stereo mix is on there as well, and it really pops really pristine. So that's wonderful. And maybe with my my headphones, I can listen to the Atmos on streaming. I'm not sure, but anyway, once we got the book and the compilation, we were eagerly awaiting for what probably motivated this whole Wings blitz, if you will, and that was the the documentary, and then there was a soundtrack also. The documentary is really the spearhead of this whole Wings revival. So I don't know who was the brainchild of the whole thing. The director is Morgan Neville. He says someone came to him. Probably, for all I know, it's Amazon Prime because they're hosting the streaming of it. But in any case, Paul certainly got on board and put his weight behind it. So this film comes out in limited release in February 19th. I did get a chance to go see it in the theaters. It was fantastic, sounded great, looked great, new footage I've never seen before. A lot of stories I've heard before, but again, to see it all in one right around 2-hour package, it just kind of gives you a way to contextualize everything, and you just, it's like you remember this detail and that detail, but when it's put in the film, when it's put in the book, even when it's put in a compilation, your mind is able to kind of go, okay, there's an arc, that's sort of that's the story and you get certain themes and certain like main points out of it. Obviously, they highlight his relationship with Linda. They highlight his relationship with John, which went through ebbs and flows through the course of the breakup of the Beatles all the way to his terrible murder in late 1980. They touch on all of that in here. They go through the whole Wings story. They're not going to go real deep into every album, analyzing every album and the creation of every album, but it's really focused on Paul's journey. And as he says at the time when he made the McCartney album, what was his goal in life was to grow up. And the director says that he sort of used that as his touchstone for the film, and that was what he sort of based it around. Is like you see Paul going through the process of growing up, coming to find out what it is to raise a family, what it takes from him to be the father he wants to be the husband he wants to be, and with hits and misses, trying to be the band leader that he wants to be, and trying to be the artist that he wants to be. He'd always had that partner of John by his side. He'd had the other guys by his side to turn his material into absolute magic. Now he had to do it on his own and kind of draft other people in from nowhere and make it happen. So yeah, you appreciate all of that process, and it's very well put together. Now, I haven't seen it on Prime yet, but I will do that. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. I think you'll really dig it. And then we got this soundtrack album, which was a little bit of a surprise. But then again, if you think about it, why miss this marketing opportunity, especially if you're Paul and especially if you're Amazon? So this is an interesting compilation. This is 12 songs. And this does have one solo song on it, the coming up. Well, no, actually it also has That Would Be Something from the first McCartney. So it has something from the first McCartney, something from McCartney 2. It has a couple songs from Ram, which is he and Linda, although Denny Seiwell from Wings is in there as well on Ram. And then it's just kind of a different collection of different songs that are highlighted in the movie. So it's cool. You got a few sort of curios in here. You got a demo of Silly Love Songs. You got a rough mix of Arrow Through Me, and you got, for the first time released from the James Paul McCartney special, Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance. Maybe not the greatest of all time Paul McCartney songs. It's kind of one of his fruity songs, but it's fun to have on here. Nice compilation. So, as I was thinking about this, I was thinking, 1976 is really the peak of Wings back in the day. And you see that in the film, too, that it all sort of culminates in the American tour where they just, sell out everywhere. And, the buzz is incredible. He's got number one tune after number one tune. He's just really riding it high. And up till the release of this album in 1976, which also goes number one, I believe. So I think it's fitting 50 years later that here we are with a revisiting of Wings, and hopefully this brings the band and his 70s material back into the public consciousness, and people get more clear about how this was a very worthy project, a very excellent piece of Paul's career where he was still very creative. He was singing at the top of his game, playing at the top of his game, writing at the top of his game, writing a little bit different songs than he had previously, but still very creative, still eclectic, and at times just perfect for the moment of the 70s. Like this, he kind of epitomized 70s pop rock with like Silly Love Songs and Listen to What the Man Said, Band on the Run. So here we are, 50 years later. I think it's great to bring that back into the consciousness of how important that part of Paul's life was, and how that music stands the test of time and deserves a second visit from critics and fans alike. Now, the last thing for this video is just to ask the question, what could be coming next, and what would really make this Wings, whatever you want to call it, this year of Wings really shine? Well, it really comes back to these two albums of Back to the Egg and London Town. We haven't had a remaster or any kind of re-release of these albums since 1993. Wouldn't it be fantastic if he were to highlight these albums by putting them out in some kind of new format, remastered, remixed perhaps? Now, he has this archive edition series that he's been doing. It's been 5-6 years since he came out with the last one on Flaming Pie. He did Flowers in the Dirt. He's done a lot of the other Wings albums. But he's passed over these two for whatever reason. And it's time. It's really time to give these albums their due. They're excellent. Now, of course, it's a matter of taste of whether it floats your boat or not. But I mean, to me, if you like Paul McCartney, if you like what he does in general, you're going to find a hell of a lot to like on both of these albums. And I just wonder what kind of unreleased material could come along with this, what kind of live material could come along with a revisiting of these albums. So, live video, who knows? Who knows what's potentially out there that could be very exciting for us fans. So I think it's quite possible he's going to do it this year. The only thing that may get in his way is actually still good news, because that would be his new solo album. We've been promised a new solo album. It hasn't gotten a release date yet, but it is finished, and apparently he's finishing up the artwork on it, but it's just a matter of when they want to release it, and hopefully there's time within the year to have a real push of that solo album and the London Town Back to the Egg archive editions. So let's look out for all of that. In the meantime, let's enjoy what we have received. Thank you so much for watching along. Let me know how you're enjoying this Wings Blitz so far. Which part of it has been your favorite? What do you love about it? And also, what are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to the London Town Back to the Egg, or you got other things in mind? Love to hear any of your comments. Please like, please subscribe. Take care. Till next time, guys. See you later.